there, welcome to Real Talk. I am Tamima. It definitely feels good to be back here on the round table. So today I have a very interesting show lined up for you. Looking around me in this season of COVID-19, unfortunately, relationships and marriages are one of the areas in our lives that have taken a very hard hit. When I look around me, so many couples unfortunately will not make it this year. But today on the show, we want to talk about this. How do you break up? How do you handle a breakup, whether you're male or female? Well, today on the table with me, I have some male personalities, men who I believe have lived enough of life and they can actually speak on this issue, because we're going to be talking about how men deal with breakups and why they get it wrong. And of course, hoping that through this show, you'll have some very insightful nuggets of wisdom that will actually help you in your relationship or whatever stage it is you're in life right now. So let me introduce my guests, starting off with the one, the only Coach Burale.
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome to the table.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
I know, right? It's no longer round, but it's a table, guys.
I was about to ask. I was like, okay, where's the other part? There's a part missing over there.
I know, right? Because the show is
There's a quarter.
Real Talk Round Table. So let's introduce.
Okay.
I have Dr. Ofweneke.
Yes, the eagle
Welcome
himself.
to the table.
Thank you so much.
And of course, I have the one and the only Shaffie Weru. Welcome to the table.
Asante sana.
So because we are talking
but
about...
I have a problem.
Yes.
You've just declared us old.
No, I said you have experience.
What experience means old?
Oh, hey.
That's what CVs you ask.
Umesema tu bazoo. Bazoo.
That is what we are here to correct. Because, and I love that you've already, segued into that yourselves. Because we are talking about breakups. And if I look at everybody sitting on this table, as a man, you've gone through a breakup at one point of your life. Assumptions.
Oh, Shaffie,
so
please.
Shaffie, tell us.
Anyway, yeah.
You're in a safe place.
Yes,
I have been left many a times.
Yes.
And I've also left people many a times. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes it was a bit toxic. It was a bit crazy, because the reality of the situation is no one can celebrate a breakup. It doesn't matter whether that person used to treat you. I don't know how. Whether you're the one who's leaving or you're the one being left, there's no celebration. Yes, it's if you spend time with somebody, let's talk about 6 months and above. Because below that, there's nothing much there's nothing much you've wasted. There's no time, there's no space, there's no state of mind that that you've messed up. But if you've been with someone for more than 6 months and above, if you've been with someone and you have children, if you've been with someone and you've lived with them, because sometimes when you're young, when I was like 21, 22, those days, and like now, you fall in love and then the next thing is to find a place where you guys can coexist together. Yeah, because I could on Airbnb. These days, these kids, brother, they have it so easy. Yeah, and when you live 5K and you live in a house, not a hotel, a house.
Fully furnished.
You find everything in there. Mukiachana, Burale is a nice times, boss. It's crazy.
Right.
We had to find, like when I met Debbie, and then we used to live in my mom's SQ, and then we had to move because maybe we became too noisy. I don't know, but we had to move. First thing was Ngara.
Yeah.
Left South Sea, went to Ngara, and we had a home, and everything was good. And things happened. People grow, people meet other people. But when you're starting these things, there's no manual, so we don't know that you'll meet other people. That it's not love or infatuation. You don't know. You're just you're in limbo, and how you move from that space or that situation to the next situation and to the next. Because I'm not saying that after Debbie I didn't see other people. I'm sure I saw other people, but the funny thing is that me and my girl have just began circle, because now Debbie's still in my life, Mama Nia is still in my life, and those are the women I've decided I only care about. The rest.
Okay, and we're going to get to that.
To pass time.
So thank you for sharing, because you shared that currently you have two women who are primary figures in your life, and it's women that you share children with.
Yeah, they're the core.
They're the core women in your life.
In my life.
Yeah, by virtue of the fact that they're the mothers of your children.
Yes.
Okay, and Ofweneke, what about you? What's your experience with breakups?
Well, I think I've had it all. Again, like you said, I've been left. I have been dumped. I've been a dumper and a dumpy at the same time. I think the worst of them all is oh my goodness. I think I was dumped on a new year. I always celebrate like an anniversary.
Okay, being dumped.
It was like, oh my God, 3, 2, 1, happy new year. It was today. So this chick, apparently, she came and told me, I don't think this your comedy is going anywhere, and I don't think you'll ever succeed into anything, and I don't have the patience for that.
She was not willing to wait for potential to mature.
Imagine that day I've just done my first concert. I've been paid 200 shillings. I
thought it's 200,000.
200 shillings to somewhere in the Ruruta satellite, deep down in some certain church, whereby it was just more like a service provider. It was like a service providers meetings because it was just me and the sound guys. No guy turned up for the concert. So I had bought a bracelet in Kibera around outside to a market at the gate, to a primary at the gate. I gave her the bracelet and then she told me, what is this you're giving me? I mean, I'm a model. What is all this? So I always celebrate. It's been it's been 14 years now.
But you know, just fast forward because I know you've had a few more which are very significant.
I
now
know
when you're grown and
I know for my most significant breakup was Nika and I. And I thank God Burale is here, one of my big brothers in my circle. I think if I didn't have the likes of RB and MC Abel and Bishop Willie Odendo, I think I would have broken. And I had a friend of mine called Arnold. Because I think that it was a very tough decision whereby the kids are here, but you have to leave.
Yeah.
It's a very tough decision whereby you have to choose the happiness of your children and your own happiness. You have to be, I was like, these kids have a life. And I have a life too. They're already living their life. So I am happy already. I need to leave. But I'm like, what am I going to tell these kids? So I think for me, it was one of the toughest decisions to make. I think for some time, when I moved now to a new house, because I literally left with just my shoes, my documents, and my clothes. I'm meeting Burale, we're having lunch. And you're like, guys, see, we're going home. And I'm like, guys, I have no home.
right.
So I had to look for a place to live. And I think many times, I will admit, there are many times I cried. So many times I feel like I'm a failure as a father. I feel like probably I failed as a husband. And I feel like, what else can I do? So I found myself into research, into literature, I'm listening to pastors and bishops about being a man and what marriage is. And it was just a whole confusion. By the time I'm literally healing, one of my faults is by the time I'm healing, I realized I had destroyed too many souls by the time I'm healing. Because in between, I met other girls and I didn't care. And then I think I was a very cold heart. He used to scold me so many times.
Right.
I would meet you and tell you, hey, listen, we're talking Dunda, we're going to my place. Don't fall in love with me.
It's not personal.
At the day you fall in love, please leave. And I would be very blunt. And I realized there's so many girls' hearts that I messed because I was still nursing a breakup. But mine was bad. Mine was bad. By the time I was healing, oh my goodness,
And you know,
it was bad.
I thank you for sharing because we're going to get back to that. And you say it's something that's very important. And I really want us to leave it on this, but that men also hurt.
Oh yes, we
And
do.
how you choose to heal is very different.
It's
from
just we
different
have
people.
different ways
Exactly.
of healing, yes.
So let me come to you, Coach.
Right.
So obviously, you're not akora and then we are white. So clearly, you're a man who has lived.
Yes.
Experience.
So if you look at your own life and from your own personal experience, how have you handled your previous breakups?
Well, mine was very public. I was married. Mine wasn't just a relationship. I was married for 1 year, 2 days. By the time I was getting married, I had visibility in the public, and my ex-wife also has visibility. So when we broke up, we didn't have the luxury of settling everything privately. So it was us and many other people who, of course, took sides. So when I lost my marriage, and I'm a visible person in the public domain, I'm a preacher. So it was a double whammy for me.
It's existential because
Yes.
as a preacher, you're not supposed to fail.
You're not
there.
supposed to.
Yeah.
And you know, believers, church people are the best gossips, you know. And I believe they're the admins of most of these gossip groups. They just
Very
hide,
true.
you understand? Because, so I was judged as a preacher and as a public figure. And then to make it worse, as a relationship coach, what are you telling us? Yet you cannot keep yours together.
Right.
So I went through the motions of bitterness, self-pity, depression, and then healing. Did I handle all the stages well? I don't think so. When I look back, would I have done some things differently? Yes, I think I should. And then, of course, there came a time, I think I was out of the country, and I was getting many WhatsApp calls, and I think an interview had been done in one of the media houses, and of course blogs picked it and picked whatever they wanted and turned the story, and it was like I was this bad person in marriage, you know. I had infidelity, which of course was not the case. So then I got angry again. This was 5 years after that, after healing. Then when this comes up again, I got angry.
Because you were triggered now.
Yes, I was triggered. And I was like, and I'm out of the country. You know, so I remember I called my bishop and he says, listen, be easy. Continue serving God like as if nothing happened. I tried, but it was still hard. Because then you have people forwarding you these bloggers and this message. And I think at the center page of a newspaper, you know, it was quite crazy. I did handle it with a lot of pain. There was a lot of bitterness and anger at that time. But the one thing I did right, I never went on the offensive. I didn't fight back. And I do believe my ex-wife was misquoted in some of those things, because I know some of those things that were said she didn't say. Right. But bloggers and gossip groups must get the juicy stories.
Juicy
you know?
You know that now, because
Yes.
I'm sure at the time when you'd come across those headlines, it would hurt you.
Yes, it would. And then now, what messed up is people were saying, how can you guys fight like this publicly and you have a child together? Now you see, now they brought my daughter into a situation where she's not. My ex-wife is not my daughter's mother.
Right.
And many people make that mistake.
Bloggers.
Yes.
They don't
Or
fact check.
they divorced but they have a child.
Right.
My daughter is not my ex-wife's daughter. You understand? So I got annoyed that they're bringing an innocent child into this, and I realized these breakups can really hurt this. My daughter is under 18. She's 15. You understand? But these people don't care.
And I would really love us to pick up from that point, because when I look around me right now, you know, everyone seated on this table, we are all public personalities.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And whether you like it or not, your business will end up being out there in some way or form. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that we must all agree to is that we have control. You can choose what it is you want to reveal and what you want to also respond to.
Yeah.
And I want us to start off from there. What is the right way to break up? Now, looking back, and I want to start with you, Shaffie, because you've had a public breakup and probably a bit more recently a more private one. So in the context of that, what were you able to learn between the first one and now the second time you found yourself there?
Well, unlike Burale's and my brother's, Ofweneke's breakups, my breakups were just purely natural breakups, because people already had this assumption that me, I'm Team Afisi, and I ran with it, and Secretary General of Team Afisi. So there was no way on earth I was going to win any argument when it comes to to me being cheated on.
Because the perception would be that
disrespected, maybe, yeah.
The perception
So
would be
every
you're
ti-
the problem.
Yeah,
in the public.
Listen, every single time.
Yeah.
Even with Debbie, and even with Mama Nia. That's Mama Milan and Mama Nia. It has always been, as in everybody, the blogs, everything that has been written is in the context of, the bad boy, what's that word?
Team
Afisi chairman.
Afisi in English. I'm
Philanderer.
Philanderer.
Yes, that's the word.
So Casanova.
Casanova, yeah, that's the word.
And so they're already decided. So there was no room for me to explain myself. I have never explained myself, and I don't think even now I want to explain myself, because I don't have an issue with the mothers of my children, because they've taken me there. They've given me something that I'm very proud of. They have two amazing daughters, and whatever happened between us, I still respect them, and whatever they did to me, I've never had a conversation in public to try and to save face, because I learned one thing with blogs. Blogs, it doesn't matter what you tell them or what you share with them. Even though you chucked a press release, they will still, like in Burale's case, they will still find
Some
they'll just pick one thing and leave and edit the rest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all about clickbait. And they want to sell, the negative.
Because that's what sells.
That's
People
what sells.
click.
That's what people want to read. People want to read, the dramatic, the thriller, and the suspense. They don't want the true story. No one wants a true story. Yeah, because it's boring. So with Debbie, I actually she was amazing to me. She loved me so much. We loved each other. We were together for close to 10 years. Yeah, short of about 8, 9. And I just met Joanne, and then I was like, wow, I'm in love with this Chile. And Debbie just gave me an ultimatum. She told me, I found out, because you'll always be busted. You'll always be. I know you're seeing this woman. She had already gone through my phone. I came home one day, I blacked out, and she just went through the phone.
What?
And she saw everything. So I was woken up, and I suspect that day she must have put Cutex remover in my eyes.
Because
I thought I was blind. I woke up and I'm like, hey, baby, what is this? And like, what is this? Then we had a conversation, and after she yelled, because it's automatic, it's human nature. People have to yell. People have to
she's hurting.
be combative.
Yeah.
And so she's there. And Milan was 4 years at that time. And I'm sure she could hear us causing drama because we're in the same house, used to live in Upper Hill. And she just told me, you know what, if you decide to go that woman, pack your bags and leave. Because it's a decision I'd already made. I was already seeing Joanne behind her back for like 2 months. Yeah. And that's why I'm not at Timafisi. Ningekuwa Timafisi, hata ningekuwa nimeenda kama 1 year bila kushikwa. But 2 months, I got busted. And yeah, and I left. And when I left, I tried coming back.
Why?
Because I went back to, I went to my own place now. The same way even. Nilikuwa nakaa kwa gari for like a week before I found a place. And I got a place in Kile. Now I moved in. Kaanza kununua vitu kidogo kidogo. In that process, Debbie had found a boyfriend. Watch, I found out. Hey, I went back crying, but I'm telling you, no, you're not.
And coach, I want you to pack that one.
You know,
because men do this.
Yes.
So I went back.
That
Right.
and just
Okay.
explain it.
So I went back. And she has another man because I used to go visit the baby. I've never stopped visiting the baby. That was one thing that, even when I was packing my things, we had agreed. I was always welcome to the house. So when I come, I find a Range Rover bigger than mine. I'm like, no, this woman.
Is it a mechanic car dealer? Where we get out?
Nikajaribu kuongea hapo bana. And then something, I think my mom and some of my friends, we have a group at UTT where we chew gomba, just my Muslim friends and like my brother's brothers. They told me, boss, the day you're packing a bag, one of the guys there told me, because his sons came to help me pack. When his sons got home, he chased them. He didn't even talk to them for like 2 weeks.
Right.
He was like, what were you guys doing there? Helping this guy.
Yes.
Leave his
home.
Yes. So who are your friends?
You never do that.
This mzee was
Who are your
upset.
friends?
He was so upset. So when he found out that I'm trying to go back to that house, I just came to Madaraka, just called me on the side and told me, boss, this is not going to happen. And if this happens, we don't even want to see you here again. I'm like, Kwani, what's going on, man? Hey. And then just through that conversation, and I'm a smart man, I understand. That's the reason why we're human. And I was like, I'm being unfair to Debbie. And that's when I just went and moved on.
With your life.
Then moved in with Joanne, who we lasted for about 6 years, and then I found myself again packing my bags and just going to live by myself. Now I'm all by myself because now she showed me things. And it's not fair for me to kumanika ama kusema nini. She's an amazing mother to my child. And they say you reap what you sow.
Right.
And everything I got from this second relationship, it was coming. Okay. That's how I move on.
And thank you for sharing that.
I respect because God doesn't need to gali and Zukuma. You can't go around just destroying people's lives and thinking you're the king of Zamunda. No. Trust me. You're going to pay. Utalipa hapa tu.
Right.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that, Shaffie. Remember, we're having a very candid conversation here on the table today, talking about how men deal with breakups and, of course, where they get it wrong. And I want to invite you, have you dealt with this in your family as a man? Are you learning anything from this conversation? Get on the SMS line right now on your screen and let me know where you're watching us from. And, of course, any questions you might have for the guest here on the show. But right now, it's time for a very quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Talk Roundtable. So on the table I have with me men who are getting real on how they've broken up in their previous relationships and of course trying to teach you how they believe most men, especially in our Kenyan culture, get it wrong. And of course hoping that through this very candid conversation that we will actually be able to help you heal yourself and heal your families. So I have with me Coach Robert Burale, Shaffie Weru, and of course Dr. Ofweneke. So early on, Shaffie, you were able to just paint the picture for us about the key significant breakups in your life. And I want to bring this to the coach because he said something very important. And I think now we're talking about how do people break up in Kenya. So he's given us two very different pictures around on both, and he used the word dampa dampi.
Yeah.
So he's painted the picture around where he found himself both times. So when you look at that, and especially with men, why is it important that ukiwa kwa ile relationship, even when things are good, at the back of your mind, always know that this might not work. And when it doesn't work, we must be very clear about how do we break up.
I do understand, but also you have to understand men are ego. That's why Shaffie was very honest and said, when he broke up with somebody and he had moved on, when he discovered that the person they had broken up with found another person, he wanted to come back. Now, two things were at play there. Of course, he loved this woman. They have a child together. But another thing that pushed him, who is this man who is trying to be better than me?
It was a bigger Range Rover.
Yes, you see, it's ego.
It's an
And
ego, it's an old ego, man.
you have to understand the mind of a man. Even when you go to the urinals, when we stand there, you will turn left, right. You are comparing each other. It's innate in us. So what we need to understand is that if, when you're dating, make sure the foundation is so strong that when you break up, if you break up, there is a parameters of respect. But I've seen now people abusing each other on social media. You see, like he says, he has a platform. He would have said some things, but what did he say? It's not right. But that is not there anymore these days.
Right.
You know, it's I'll abuse you, your fans abuse you, my fans abuse you, you know, that kind of thing.
I think we've seen that play out with Maureen YT2 and Frankie Just James, which is just not right.
Yes. And it's wrong because they have 2 children together. Those children will grow up, and at the end of the day, as long as they lay naked together, they should not anika each other. Right. You understand what I'm saying? They undressed each other in privacy when they loved each other. Stop undressing each other publicly. And that's one thing I think we need. And the three of us, we are friends here. We have maintained respect. I would never sit anywhere and say anything bad about my ex-wife. I would rather say the good things about her. She's a great woman of God, respectable person, doing great things, changing lives. I would rather, but if I said that in a meeting, blogs will not pick it.
Right.
Never.
Blogs would want to pick, she did this, she did this, she did this, you understand? And then they run with it. So you understand that you are the two of you, while you are loving each other. Just know, and this conversation must be hard, that if things go south, what do you think we should do?
So can I speak as the only woman up in here? I want to speak as a daughter of Eve. And I usually use that phrase when I'm like, you know what, like any woman, even me, there's a time the madness. There's a time the madness upanda. So as a daughter of Eve, our first instinct will be like, you know what, I'll make sure everybody knows what this man did to me.
Right.
Are you understanding? And as a daughter of Eve, even who's in a public life, I can imagine even for my female counterparts who are celebrities, it hurts. And for them, they have the outlet where they can go on Twitter and put a black rose. Then from there, the drama starts. Are you understanding? And then you sit in an interview somewhere, you say something, he's not even paying child support. And, you know, you're constantly feeding the beast. But how would you help a man who finds himself in a situation whereby you're like, you know, Burale, I know you told me as a man, don't engage, you know. But this woman is constantly, yani anadunga. That's the expression that men use.
Yes.
So how then would you tell a man who feels like I'm also justified because I cannot sit there and this person is constantly smearing me and say nothing?
Hold on, don't fight back, because when the dust settles, people now start analyzing. How did this one behave and how did this one behave? I know it is painful. They'll call you, Burale, what do you have to say? What is your response to this? No comment. No comment. Why didn't you call me to ask me when things were okay? I know you want to, especially maybe something has been said and it's a lie. You're like, no, I'm not going to take this lying down. But always remember, tomorrow the dust will settle and the analysts will come up. Always go the higher road, you understand? Because if you throw it back and forth, you're even killing your chances for another relationship. Tell you what, even as a lady, if you go telling your guy off and embarrassing your guy, another man who may want to be with you will say no. This one, if things go south, atanyanika hivi. So you will miss out. Because men, in their mind, will look at how you handled your previous breakup, if it was public. And even for ladies, if you, like Shaffie has said, I would not anika, I respect. A lady watching will be like, that is a man who respects women. So the chances of him even moving on are very high. Exactly. As opposed to somebody saying, you are saying I did this, and you, what did you do? You are cheating on me. You slept with this man. Which woman will want to come and be such a person? Especially for men, you have to show leadership, you have to show maturity, you have to show that you know how to handle yourself. Sure. It's very key.
Ofweneke, you wanted
to I think at that point, just like you say, maturity, I think that is the time where both of you can literally get, because it's only at your worst moment that you can gauge how mature both of you are, or both of you are, in either sense. Because I think for me, I think because by the time the whole Kenya knew that Nika and I were not together, it was like almost 6 months later on. Yeah. That's when you guys came to know that we're not together.
And that's why I keep saying, we do have control.
Exactly. You get, and it was silent. I told her, listen, let me just go. Because if I stay in this house, these kids will end up being orphans. Because me know myself. I have a temper. So
Ofweneke needs anger management.
me, I know mine is bad. So I
Acceptance.
told her if I need to leave. So I put my small things at back of my car. Bro, where are you? Burale. We went and chilled at some place in Muthaiga. He didn't know that me, I had left.
Yeah.
You get? So it's only 6 months later on when I don't know what I was asked by a blogger. Before know it, the blogger comes out and puts a caption. It was actually impartial. And I think my lawyers, I think I called you. Yes, I called you and I called Grace and I told that boy, small boy of Achito. I told her, listen, don't be mistaken by my English and my suit. Mini ghetto. Budanda kumada. You get? Because I told him it was a misquoted statement. So by the time it gets to my ex-wife, it's like being flu. So before you know it, I'm seeing, I'm in a meeting at K1 with a client. Phones are ringing, buzzing, Burale, Arnold, Cream. What's happening? I'm trending. What am I trending? My wife, Patara. Me. So by the time I'm dealing with that, what do I do first? I call RB, bro, where are you? They told me, go home. My mom calls me and tell me, go home. My dad calls me because they know me. I went to the house. Yani nilifunga mlango. The first thing I did, I cried. Then I realized all these almost 4 years, I was so hurt by what I was going through in my marriage that I had never let out the pain because, you know what, I'm a man, I'm a G. I mean, I'm not supposed to, hey, come on. I cried like a kid. Look, you know those times you cry.
Okay.
You know, you start with a statement, then it doesn't end. I kid, what is happening? That was me.
By yourself?
By myself, just in the house. Then I had typed a whole caption of defending myself. Then RB asked me, after defending yourself, and I can tell you there's no record anywhere, in any blog, anywhere, in any interview, that I've spoken ill about my ex-wife.
You know, you said a very important point, and he said it as well. Who's your circle?
Exactly.
Why is that important for men especially? Who's your circle? Because we all get to that moment when, you know, you're overridden by emotion, you feel like this is unfair, and you want to lash out. Yeah? But you need people who can actually tell you, you know what, you might be right, Ofweneke. But ukituma your message, and like you said, you typed a whole
But it was a whole, those are the read more.
Yes, you are responding, press release.
Why?
So why is that important, especially RB? Because Shaffie has said it, Ofweneke has said it, and
Talk
your name
about the
keeps
circle.
coming up because you're part of so many people's circle.
Yes.
Why is it important?
It is important to have people who will tell you the painful truth. People who genuinely care about you, not telling you what you want to hear. I called Ofweneke. I told him, what nonsense is this? It will cost you later. Why? I am older than Ofweneke. I have experienced some things that maybe he has not. Now that he has, he will also advise somebody else coming behind him. Now, your circle must be so small that is based on value system. Even if you go out together, we all go out, but there's a value system that, you know what, at the end of the day, I got your back. If you're going to do something silly, I will tell you to your face. And I know you're right. Like we can say, I know you're not a wife batterer. I know you didn't cheat. I know you whatever. But who cares? These guys don't care about you. So when you type, what next? Tomorrow they'll move on to somebody else. But you'll be left with egg on your face. You understand? So your circle is key because they keep you grounded. They keep you focused. And they take care of your future. But many people now, their circle is because they sleep around. They go drinking only. If that is what holds you together, there's nothing. You're building a 10-meter foundation, a 50-storied building on a 5-meter foundation. You are done. But do you have friends who will say, listen, it is well? Or do you have friends who you can tell, I messed up? And they will not run to the blogs. I'm telling you, during Corona time is when it was a social experiment for me. That's when I knew people are wicked. Friendships are fickle. And I did a video, reduce the number of chairs on your dinner table. Because the truth of the matter, I was fighting for my life. And I see a screenshot, somebody saying, somebody who I've welcomed to my house, I can't wait for Robert Burale. I can't wait to wake up to seeing, rest in peace, Robert Burale. Now, if that person thought that about me, that I can't wait for you to die, any advice he would have given me before that and after was not objective, was not with me in mind. You must have people who, and I said these 4 people, 4. One who knows your strengths and wants to build you on your strengths. One who knows your weaknesses, will not judge you, wants to help you deal with your weaknesses. One who has been where you want to be, is not jealous, will help you get to that place. And one who is fighting battles in your absence. I will not sit anywhere, and they're talking about these 2 gentlemen, and I'm contributing. I would rather tell them to shut up or I walk away.
For sure.
If you come and tell me, imagine I sat here and these guys were speaking about you for 1 hour, I'll ask myself
You're not
one
my
question.
friend.
How
You're there for 1
comfortable
hour.
were you?
For 1 hour.
Yeah.
Why were they comfortable?
Saying it around
And
you.
you are okay
Yeah.
to listen to this crap for 1 hour?
For sure.
It reveals who you are on the inside. You understand what I'm saying? And do you have friends? And I'm going to ask somebody, especially men, who you can say, guys, nimeblanda. Enyewe, what she's saying is the truth, but what do I do? They will not judge you. But many people have friends who, when you tell them it's the truth,
Come to the story.
they'll be looking for the bloggers. You know, please don't reveal my identity. Those ones. And a man who gossips a fellow man is like a bust sewer in a 5-star hotel. Because as men, we know the things we go through.
You know,
Stand with each other.
also something that has come off in this table, and I love that you are here today because, you know, you deserve an Oscar, then you unatoa your emotions. But really, you've said it and you're like, you know, you got to a point where you're emotional. You had not cried because you believed, again, like so many Kenyan men do that.
Exactly.
Real men don't cry. Yet uko pale every day, you know, dunia inakugonga, unaingia pale kwa nyumba, issues, kazi. Yani everything is tough, but men are wired to believe that it's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to show emotion. And let me hear from you, Shaffie, on that especially.
Well, showing emotions is normal. We're not, you know, yes, Burale said that men, we are born leaders. We have to always be in control. We have to always be in charge. We have to show, you know, compassion to the, you know, the weaker sex or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Let's just start from there.
So bottom line.
It's about you being, you know, running on blood, and she's running on blood, and no one is running on mercury, or others who are, you know, have superpowers or superheroes like we watch in the movies. We're all the same. And when something heavy is thrown at you, something you can't bear, you have to feel something. And when you feel that something, let that something just, you know, take its course. And the more you know, suppress it, the more you try and ignore it. Because the biggest issue in Kenya, I'm talking about Kenya because this is my country. I've lived here for 40 years. I know, I have seen so many things, and they all come back to one thing. We are just so ignorant. We're ignorant even to our own selves. Yeah? If you cry, and then what? You can cry. You have tears, he has tears, he has tears. We all have tears. If those tears of yours, you don't want to show them, or you don't want to, you know, test them, even if they work, and they were
Maybe
put
you
there
tear
by the person who created you.
Yeah.
Unatakaje? Are you understanding?
Yeah.
People need to be realistic and stop being ignorant. As in, by force, people are being ignorant by force. Ile wasema nataka tu, unajua? It's ridiculous.
Because you want to live up to this persona.
Yeah, because
I'm a man, I'm an
ati mtu,
African man.
Valentine's unatuma message ya ujinga ya umama. You know, when these guys do their comedy and they make those jokes,
Yeah.
those are the things that have led us to
reality.
become, you know, the reality of the situation is that if you're feeling angered, you have to talk about it.
Talk about
If you can't
reason.
talk about it to the person who's doing it to you, find someone else.
Yeah.
Have a circle. That's
Have a
the-
circle.
Have a circle.
Yeah, talk to someone else. Just go to your mother, go to church. Me, to the mosque, to my boys who we pray every Friday with. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way we lift each other. We lift each other by spirit, through emotion, you know, emotionally, by just giving each other a push and a nudge in the right direction. We're not sitting here kusomea watu, kuambia watu lazima mnafanya hivi, usikuwe na watu wanakunywa pombe. No. You can have everybody you want to have. But just know, huyu kazi yake ni ya nini? Like Burale
Exactly,
said,
right.
the four. Me, I'm not telling you. Just know. Kuna mtu unajua huyu hata uko na shida aina gani?
Never come through for you.
You will never call them.
Never.
Yeah.
Huyu ni anataka tu form.
Yes.
But don't stop being their friend.
Absolutely.
Eh? But just know who, you know, your friends in the right time and in the right space, and everything will be okay. And crying, people, if you've never cried, you have a problem. You have a very big problem.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, even the Jaden, the president of this country, with all his power and his money, I'm
Mashari.
sure analia. Hiyo macho yake ya red sangine mnasemaga sio amefanya nini?
Maybe stress kabla
He got his own
speech.
stress.
Yeah.
Even running this country is hard. Every time he comes and all the matusi that follows.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you know, with digital, I don't think there's any president who has been abused like
He
Jaden.
has, yeah.
Okay, quick one. Jaden, ilitoka pia jina. I really want to know.
Okay, this is the story. Jaden is a name that is associated with cool kids.
Cool kids.
Mababi.
Wale wafanya kitu.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
so what your mom?
I've always wanted to know that story.
So Jaden, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you also want to ask about Wamashati?
No.
Oh, no. Don't
Na
digress.
Kevon na Brayo.
Guys, stay on course. So, Coach, now talking about men and emotions, because I really love that by the time we were thinking about doing this particular topic, it had to be a very specific type of man who sits next to me. And looking at Shaffie, because for a lot of young men, that is who they look up to.
Yes,
Exactly.
Yes.
And for me, I think that, Shaffie, again, thank you. You just sitting there and speaking the wisdom that you speak, because I know you personally. And I know
I'm
that,
your
like,
uncle. Don't
he's
say your number.
fine.
Okay,
go.
just say it.
Yeah. We said we should open up.
Yes. So like he said, yes, he's my uncle. So I've seen him live his life, and I know what the media persona is, and I know who the man is
Absolutely.
behind the persona.
Yes.
And in fact, even inviting him to come to this table, I told him, you know, dude, I really feel like you're the right person to come and sit here next to me, and let's have this conversation.
Right.
Because I feel like people have misrepresented. Yeah, you know, there's
Yes.
entertainment, but then there's life.
But it's all,
Exactly.
it takes you back to, don't judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely.
But we are living in a different society now.
Right.
You don't read books.
Yes.
Man,
So what?
it's
When
it's
will they
that
start
click
reading
and
about
that's
you?
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then they
men-
just want to see
Exactly.
a meme. Meme imeandikwa tu
Murabe.
mti mafisi. Huyu ni malaya. That's all they want to
Yeah.
hear
That's
about.
it.
Yeah.
That's all. And then they
You
now
see,
make their own assumptions.
Like for Shaffie, if I look at his case, they push the playboy narrative.
You're right.
Why don't they push a great father?
And he is that.
Yes, I know that.
That has never been written, Burale.
Yes,
Never.
exactly. Why don't they push the narrative of a great father? Those of us who know him know he's a great father. But blogs will not do that. Ofweneke here, he's a great father. He's a man who actually spends time in the salon with his kids. He's known to me. I tell him, let's meet. Say, no. Today I'm going to pick the girls. I'm taking them here and here. But that will not sell. You understand? But what you're going to understand is that understand who you are. That's very
That's all.
key.
You do it
Because
for
if you
yourself.
don't, the public will make you lose your own identity.
The late Kevin Obajo, very good friend to Burale.
Yes.
He actually introduced me to Burale.
Yes.
Because before he passed on, I started meeting him and they were in a group called Muscle.
Muscles, yes.
Lakini we are in a muscle.
Yes. That's not a muscle like it.
Yes, no muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a group that
Yes.
these guys were in. And he used to tell me, you know what? Your truth is all that matters.
Yeah.
Because even he went through a lot of same issues we're having, because he got married to a very beautiful lady, Tracy, got a baby, and then relationships sometimes just don't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like Burale's 1 year, 2 months.
2
in.
days.
Yeah, things happened. But I thank God, because with Kev, how I remember him is he was a family man, because despite all that, the drama that they were having, he ended back home.
Yes.
They fixed it.
They fixed it. So there's always room to fix. People need to understand one thing. A relationship is not a competition. Relationship is process of just compromise. Because no one forced you to be together.
Yes.
So you made a choice. What the best way to move forward, or to be free from all the people in the public figure, like now all of us here, because watatutukana, wataandika, it'll hurt you, is for you and your partner to understand that it's all about compromise and just meeting each other halfway.
I think I may not.
I want to ask you to hold that, because we have to go on a quick break. The bills have to be paid, but guys, I'm loving the conversation. I really hope that you are as well. Leo tunafungua roho. I'm talking to the men, because looking around me, and especially this particular year, Corona has been almost like a pressure cooker for relationships. And I love what Shaffie has just said about that. You know, sometimes you might actually get it wrong. You could even be broken up right now, but it doesn't mean that you can't fix it. Because when you know better, you do better. Well, on that note, let's take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the round table. So today tunafungua roho hapa kwenye meza. Of course, I'm loving the conversation. You know, the men are really opening up. We are talking about how to deal with a breakup, and of course, just to help you strengthen your relationships. And before the break, there's something that Shaffie raised, and he pointed. He was like, you know what? I've seen people who've gone through drama, even broken up for periods of time, but they've been able to get back together, and now they're happily in marriage. You know, their families are upright. and things are going well. So can you talk about that perspective when it comes to men and breakup? Is it okay for you as a man to have broken up with your significant other, whether girlfriend or wife, and you know what, at some point feel like, you know what, I need to go back. That's the one. Let's fix it.
It is okay.
Yeah.
And that is why how you break up is of absolute importance. As a man, you break up with a man, abuse the man in wanton disorder, and then in the process of life, you feel you want to get back together. Even if you get back together, at the back of the man's mind is that you undressed me. So even if you get back together, you may never get the man to that place that you may want to. May even be more frustrating for you, or you may lose the chance of completely getting that man back. Because what about men, we're about honor. We're about, listen, don't uncover my nakedness. And that's where most ladies go wrong. Because now when you want to get back, oh, after what you did to me, you made me a laughing stock. No, it's okay. The one thing about men, we love people who cover our nakedness. I may not be a perfect man, but if you can cover my nakedness, you're a great woman. We are big on that. And that's why even sometimes men can sit, talk about football, talk about the American elections, talk about BBI, but they're not talking about their wives who did them wrong. Because the way we like being covered, naturally, we want to cover them. Case in point, listen to what these two gentlemen said. I will never say anything bad. I will never say anything bad. And if they wanted, there are other things, there are many things you can say. But it's because it's innate in us that we don't like being uncovered. So naturally, we want to do the same to other people. So how you break up is of absolute importance. How you break up. Remember the things you said. If you once loved each other, please measure your words before they come out. The social media in-laws are as dangerous as poison.
For sure. And even the real life in-laws sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah?
They will push you into saying bad things, but what they want is the drama, to enjoy each other. Then when they move on to the next person for their drama, you two are left there, okay, fine. Now let's take our kids out for lunch. But you're looking at each other like enemies. Shaffie said, it's never a competition. It's about compromise.
For sure.
I think for me, what I normally say is getting back together is not the issue. It's why are you getting back together? And I think most of the time guys go back together for very wrong reasons. And number one, it could be you guys are going back together hanging on the past memories.
Yeah.
You get?
Oh, it's easier.
I miss the food.
Yeah.
I miss how she used to do this. I miss how he used to do this. Not realize you guys have not solved anything. You guys have not taken time away from each other just to like, why did I actually, what was the reason why I left? You get? For me, I can clearly say, and I came to the realization, because first of all, by the time I was leaving, by the time I was packing out, I think almost 6-7 months down the line, I knew emotionally I was out.
Drained.
I knew I didn't have the strength. Literally, if I was on Android phone, I would be on 15% discharge charge. Literally like lower. Because I knew this thing can't fix, because I don't feel the same way I used to feel when I met this lady. And where there's no love, nothing else can hold. So I knew how to leave. And you know, first of all, that was just a bottom line that I will never go back. I was asking myself, so am I going to go back because she looks good? Or am I going to go back because it's on the basis of happiness? You get? So I asked myself, I literally had to flip my priorities. And I told myself, I need to ask myself, the next woman I'll be married, will I marry her because of how she looks? Or because of maybe the peace that maybe she's going to bring me? Thank God for the lady I'm married to right now. She's an epitome of peace. But she's also a very beautiful, kissy woman. And I love her to death.
Now, let me speak from a woman's perspective, because I'm sure there are so many women also watching this show right now. The issue of, do men really get over breakups faster than women? And I think Shaffie touched on it a bit, whereby he said, you know what, I was done with this. Within 2 months later, I was in another one. And you know, sometimes that's the thing that really hurts women. That, you know, we've just broken up, I'm hurting. And the next thing I know, he's in another relationship, probably even getting married. So when it comes to breakup, and you know, for some men, literally when they move on from one man to the next, it's actually they're happily ever after. But unfortunately for most, it's just moving a cancer from one spot to another spot.
But you see, Tamima, men don't care about love. But we don't care. It's how you treat us that we translate into love. It's you guys that need, it's the ladies, our wives, that need the love. Us, it's you, Oyigwe. That when I enter, you're like, the man of the house has entered. You love me, you respect me, you make sure I'm okay, my clothes are well ironed, baby, you okay, you nurture me. Now that's what we understand love. Now, if I live and look next door, I find somebody who does that, That's why if I find it quick enough, it's okay. Because for me, that's the translation of love. Because this person is coming in to feel something I didn't have.
I think I agree with you, yes and no, in the context of it takes two to tango. Because in as much as you're trying to put the burden on the woman, that the woman did not do this is why I left. I also feel like the man has to take some responsibility in terms of what did not work in that relationship.
True, I'll agree
because
that.
if you don't, where you're going, the same issues are going to carry forward. Because at the end of the day, you know, it might be Jane, Mary, Patricia, but women want the same thing: security, you know, clarity.
Companionship.
Exactly. You will just find yourself in the same exact spot.
I think what we need to understand when there's a breakup, it takes two to tango. The man has played their part.
Exactly.
The woman has
Yes.
also played their part.
Right.
Yes.
And what Ofweneke was saying is, what love is to a woman, that's what respect is to a man.
For sure.
To show me you love me, respect me. For a woman is protection, provision,
Security.
you know, and focus, and you know, especially security. That's why a woman will ask, 10 years from today, where are you taking me? Where are you taking our children? Now, you asked a question, how comes men move on quicker? It may be a weakness on the man's side. Maybe, you see, when a woman gives herself to a man, she has given herself. That is why when a woman and a man come together bodily, I'm trying to be very safe with my language, the woman has given here and her heart. The man has just given his physicality. That is why a man can meet a woman at 7 p.m. and get down with that woman at 7:02. A woman will have to fast, and I'm talking about a solid woman. You will have to take time to get into her head, into her heart, and into her future for her to give herself. Now, for a man, we want to quickly now feel that we, as Ofweneke said, I miss being respected, so I look for somebody. Right. And that sometimes works against us because we are looking for what we want to be given, and you have not dealt with our own weakness.
Exactly.
Even as you are saying, the woman must respect me. Did we as men give them love, give them protection? Did we make them feel secure? Maybe we didn't. So we quickly move on to somebody who will say, Igwe, you know, your shirt is ironed, are you okay? You know, like Delilah, I'll give you my thigh for you to rest your head. Then we miss to ask ourselves this question. But did I give her the things that a woman needs? And then again, we break up.
A second one.
And then we look for another one.
Right. So it becomes a pattern of
Yes.
broken families.
Well, no. The issue here, there are two issues here. Here's a point, but I disagree with half of it, as you said.
Yeah.
He's explained it better, but I take you back to your intro point when you said you are at a comedy show and you paid 200 bob and the lady left you. She did not, that lady, I have no issue with that because she made a resolution. She decided that, hey, I want something better.
Yeah.
She'd have just sat there and lied to you.
True.
And continue searching for something better and then go without giving you notice. As in, so she did not break up with you. She made a resolution. That's why it was on a new year.
Wow, yeah, that was the resolution.
You are the resolution. Just you need to call her one day and just thank her.
No, we talk.
Okay.
We actually talk.
You need to thank her.
No, we talk.
Because Tamima's topic has been revolving around breakups. Let me tell you, that's the best breakup. As in, that's respect right there. That's what men want.
think so.
She was clear.
Yeah,
clarity.
this is a woman who believes in resolutions. Hey, my resolution, I don't want to be with you.
Right.
Yes, you hurt me, but you move on. By February, March, I'm sure you are a happy camper. You are doing better.
Yes.
She must have even pushed you in the right direction.
Actually, 3 months later on, that's when I first got my job from Hilary.
I think you are where you are
because of that.
because of
Hey, guys,
So-
she's watching. You're building a monster.
My point is this: things don't start, don't go wrong. Things start wrong.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yeah.
So when you're on, when you've separated for whatever reason, and you're on a rebound, kawendo umewachwa ama umewachika, you're on a rebound. Yes, chances of you jumping into another relationship are very high. Doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, because you're on a rebound.
Absolutely.
And rebounds traditionally used to make people, go look for other people. Now, rebounds now are making people so angry. I don't know whether there are people who want to date, as there are no people to date. People run to in-laws on social media.
Yeah.
Because not only are people abusing public figures, random people who are not even known
With 2 followers.
wanatukanana huko pia. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why can't people just have normal rebounds? The traditional rebounds. You go and date their friend.
No, we do not endorse that.
I'm telling you,
No. We
that's
busy listening.
expected.
No, it's the same.
That is expected.
Now that you've said it. Me after that, Chile told me blah blah blah. After that, 2-3 months. The Kuzo was in the
But
game.
no, wasichana.
Lakini sasa if you now make it the daily news now, and then maybe you don't know, maybe destiny, which you don't hold, as in
We have no
you
control
have
of it.
no control of it, makes you, as in mnakutana after like a week or a month or a year, the same way nikivutwa kazi ama ukivutwa kazi, you've left how many places? Are you still at Milele?
I left. I thought Milele would close down. It's
But
still
look,
there.
it's still there. But did you burn bridges? Ulienda huko kwa mlango ya station. Ama, you know the guy who come in poo there at night at the door, just in a revenge because you're not sick.
Okay, so man on the
Think people
table,
can do that.
excuse the graphic description, but I like where you're headed. And literally, that was my next question.
Don't burn bridges, man.
Yeah, that's my next question, because, and I want to start off from the point of, if you've broken up with someone and their kids involved, I feel like we cannot leave the table without addressing
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
And it also touches on what now you're trying to lead into, in that we have to be cordial. That person could have been your ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, but there has to be some form of, civility, respectability, how you relate with each other privately or publicly. And this becomes even more important, especially where children are involved. And I want to start off with you, Shaffie, because earlier on, Burale touched on it, and he was like, you're such an amazing father, and I've seen that.
Yeah.
So tell us about fatherhood to you in the context of, how do you father when you've broken up with the wife or the mother in this instant?
Well, listen, there are three entities here. There's me as an individual, as the father. There's the mother as an individual, and in whatever, shape or form of how she takes or moves on in her life. And then there are the kids. The kids are an entity on their own. These are all different institutions. It's like the way we have the Ministry of Interior, to the Ministry of Sports. You have, so everything has to be dealt with its own, at its own time and with its own respect. So the fact that I'm not with a mother, it doesn't change that we brought these children, or my two girls, into this life together. So as in everything I was doing before, I will continue doing it. And I pray every day, every single day, that God gives me the strength so that we can coexist. Debbie, Milan, Jada, because of these children. Because if we fail these children, we have failed society, we have failed as a nation and as parents. So it's very easy for me. Every day when I wake up to be focused, responsible for my children. If you want to be part of this circle, you have to come with the same energy. If you do not have that energy, then take it somewhere else. But by chance, both Joanne and Mama Milan, all the way in America, they have that energy. It's something I can't explain, but it's just there.
Yeah.
No one calls me to tell me, there's no hate, there's no jealousy, there's no negativity, and that's what keeps me going. It's not magic. There's no recipe. I'm just this guy who just asks God every day, I know I have these two girls and I have to have their back. And not only do I have these two girls, I have adopted both kids from these women. So I have 4 children. You know that very well.
Yes.
So if I can even take their own kids into my custody, what can't I do in this world?
Yeah.
That's why I walk tall in these streets, bro. Because
Yeah.
the streets will always be the streets. The streets that
They will say what they say.
These kids give me the energy and
I want to touch on that.
Yeah.
You've said some very important points, because mostly, Burale, what happens is that he said what he was doing, from a point of provision, he still keeps doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he doesn't cut that off. But we see after breakup, most men, what happens is that it's like you're told now that it's an incremental withdrawal of support. That's why you're seeing women all over social media, even some tweeting people's employers. Can you tell so and so to pay child support? Talk to the men.
Allow me to call those boys. Those are not men.
Those are not men.
You cannot enjoy the intimacy that brought the children forth and run away from the responsibility. Now, I have a child. It doesn't stop because if you break up with the mother of your children, it does not mean you stop being a father. Your provision is not pegged on you two being together. The place of provision is pegged on you playing a part in bringing forth this human being. And that's your responsibility. So that's why I say any man...
Eternal.
Yes,
Eternal
completely.
It doesn't change.
Yes. Any man who does not take care of his children, it doesn't matter if you have a 6-figure salary, a huge 4x4, a mansion, you're the poorest of them all. So what I would tell the men is this. I know sometimes the women move on and you're like, okay, fine, see, let him pay the school fees. No, this is your blood. If that other man decides to add on to something, even if your ex is married to a billionaire and you are a watchman, please, as a man, that's why he says, I walk tall. You walk tall because in the little that you have, you are giving it to the child that you brought forth. I would never stop providing for my child based on my plenty or my lack of thereof. And just beyond that, there's also impartation. What am I imparting upon her as a girl child? What values am I inculcating upon her? If you start saying, you know, some men who say, but I'm paying school fees and so I'm doing whatever I'm supposed to do. Paying school fees and buying clothes is not something that you add onto your CV. It is your responsibility anyway. It's not something to boast about, you know. And like when he went to Disney with his daughter.
Right.
It's not just about Disney. There is more to what he did. Is the father's presence, the protection. So there is no man who will come and offer a lollipop. Look at the man and say, do you know why my father has taken me?
Can we talk about that one? Because, you know, we're talking about provision, but also presence.
Yes.
You know, that is what fathering is. It's a mixture of both.
Right.
So then how do you still remain present in your children's lives after you've broken up with their mother? That is something that also, admittedly, Kenyan men are struggling with.
You must attend functions in school. Pick your children, go out with them, do homework with them, attend their first swimming lessons, go for their violin classes. Your presence. Let your daughter or your son see you cheering them on. Now, times have changed. The things they're learning, we have forgotten them. But just sitting there, Dad, what is the answer? You're like, no, you don't know. Kumbe, you're going to the loo to go to Google. You come back and say, I think this is the answer. You understand? Just that presence, like, if your child cannot think about calling you when they are stuck, there's trouble.
You fail.
There's trouble. So how do you do it, Ofweneke?
I think basically it all runs back to how you guys broke up. You get?
Yeah.
Because how you guys break up, especially when there are children involved, will literally automatically set the basis of how the relationship is going to be in that whole triangle. You get? Thank God for we settled the issue, the dust came down, and like, yo, listen, me, I'm never going to come back. And please, the day you get a man, please do. And get love. But now the kids need their father. You get? And I respect Nika for that, because Nika has never been a hurdle between me and my daughters. She lets me spend as much time with the girls as possible. The first days for their schools, I was there. I pick them up, and when I cannot, I communicate and I talk to the girls. The issue about provision, there are times, I mean, we're artists. Me, I don't have a 5 to 6. I deal on a check imetoka, gig ndoi, and my other investments. So I'll tell her, hey, mama, you asked for this amount of money. Let's talk in 2 days because the check is not ready yet. When it comes in, I will sort you out. Then we suddenly agreed, you know what? Is this what you want to take care of? Fine. This is what I'm going to take care of. Also, we're good. But just in case, nikisikia nimelemewa. You get? So it becomes a very mature conversation between the two of you. You get? Because at the end of the day, these kids did not send an application letter to be born. You get? Like he said, it was a consensual a matter, blah, blah, blah. The kids came. So you cannot blame the kids for your mistakes or for your immaturity or for whatever, for you not deciding you want to settle out your issues. So I think for me it's important. Put your issues aside. You guys have your own domains. You want to insult each other on your text and WhatsApp, it's fine. But when it comes to the children, and if your children are old enough to understand, also sit them down. I put my daughters down. I told them, yo, Debbie, Faith, listen. Dad and mom are not together anymore. But dad and mom don't hate each other. You get? Dad has my mommy Christine, and you guys can always come and visit mommy Christine. Mom has uncle so-and-so, but we are here for the two of you.
Right.
So, and then again, and it's also very important not to confuse the children. If you guys are done, you guys are done.
Be done.
Yes. Avoid any kind of weird
Sleeping back, in and out.
Yes.
escapades in front of the children.
Right.
You've already sold the idea that dad and mom are not together. So don't start giving them hopes, because the hopes again messes them up. Let them know this is it. Me and they know. Hi, you okay? Aya, nimekuja watoi. Tachikiana, God akubless. Gone.
And you know, there is something that also men use as an excuse, distance. And Shaffie, maybe from your own personal experience, because you have a child who's literally not in this country, but you still father that child.
Yes. Well, it's about time management. It's about knowing having order in your life and understanding that there are things that have to be done. These kids are here. These kids are growing. They'll never wait. As in, you can't pause and decide, ndaenda hivi alafu nitakuja. That's why every year I have to make time. Twice a year, I have to go all the way to the States. It's not an easy thing. It's very, very complicated, but I do it.
And expensive.
And very expensive. But you see, even now, technology has helped. Wacha vile va blogs tumesema nini. But technology has really, really made it easy to co-parent and do whatever you want to do. Because unlike before COVID, Zoom was a ghost to many. These are things me I've been using. And FaceTime, because, you know, you have to call your children. You have to have communication. Communication is very important with your children. It's communication and then now presence. Yeah, because, you know, you can be with a woman who has taken a court order that you should never even appear 50 feet within her. Yeah. So that's an obstacle. And, you know, people are different. As he said, it's how you break up. Whatever happened, mkaenda, but watoto wako pale. So how do you now manage? You have to find ways how to maneuver. And that is why first communication, you have to put it at the number one on your list with your children. Especially if they're approaching adolescent. If they are 10 and above, they will always remember. Kids never forget. They will always remember. And eventually, like my mom always says, those kids will come and look for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the obstacle is, it's legal. You cannot be able to be seen anywhere near your children because now she's married to this big, rich person and they're going to court wamekupiga, you know, breaks. It's okay. But make sure you're always in your daughter's life. Because even the court cannot tell you not to talk to your child.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's no ruling like that. Yes, the woman, yes, because you know she's an entity by herself. But make sure you get a phone. You talk. You can even go to the children's court to be ordered to have that particular, you know, a facility. And I think there's no human being or man, an adult out there who can claim it's circumstance that has made me not take care of my children. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo Burale.
Yeah, hakuna.
As a man, if you love that child and if that is your child, you will climb mountains. You will move them.
For sure.
And
something to be there for your child.
Allow me to add. Sometimes a man moves on and gets another woman and you have a child. If the person you're dating discourages you from seeing your child, that person doesn't really care about you.
For sure.
If you're a woman and you have this big guy who says, I will use my connection, make sure that man does not see his child, that man does not care about you. Because one thing you must understand is the two of you broke up, maybe it was ugly. But to the children, the father is the hero, the mother is the hero.
Sure.
So please understand, don't bring your children in how you broke up. You understand? So never ever say anything bad about the father. Never say anything bad about the mother to the children.
Good.
Because later, when these children grow up, they'll ask some very difficult questions.
And they will find the truth.
They
always
do.
find out the
Yes.
truth.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You know, what an eye-opening, candid conversation we've had here about, you know, relationships, breakups, how to co-parent after breakup. And I really do hope that this show has spoken to somebody, breathed some life into you, given you some wisdom, because we're all about healing families. And I like to say, especially those of us growing up in these generations, you know, your parents might not have gotten it right. You might not have the right examples in your life, but it is your responsibility. You cannot blame your life on other people. It is your responsibility to make a choice that I will be the pattern breaker. I will be the generational curse breaker. And when it comes to relationships, ultimately, because society is made up of healthy families, so we must be committed to people who actually uphold the values of marriage, values of families, values of relationships, values of parenting. Well, that's it from me, Tamima. As always, thank you so much for staying with us. I do hope that you'll tune in next week here on the Roundtable. We are back with a fresh series of new episodes for you, as always. And that's it from me. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.